Rollins stands tall. Is Gunther afraid of Jey Uso? Let's get into Raw. So folks, for the final Raw before WrestleMania 41 this coming weekend, we started off the show with a pretty solid promo. We had Gunther come on down to the ring and he summoned Michael Cole into the center of the ring. Now, before this happened, Michael Cole did actually say that this was meant to be an interview later on in the show, but Gunther came out straight away and was like, get in here. And it was a pretty solid promo by Gunther, to be honest with you. It wasn't really an interview per se. Gunther then told the world that Jey Uso is full of crap. The crowd started yeeting so loud that Gunther literally had to shout over the microphone. Gunther said that he is the greatest World Heavyweight Champion of all time and that Jey is nothing compared to him and he will put him down at Mania. Which, to me, this promo, the way it's gone, has changed the dynamic of the match. For the last couple of weeks, well, since Jey won the Rumble and he chose Gunther, Gunther was always, I'm taking you out, I'm going to destroy you. And obviously we've seen Jey be the scared type. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. But since last week when he came out and he said, I was scared of you, but now I'm not. You've actually flicked the switch and I'm now the opposite. The dynamic has changed. Gunther is now scared of Jey Uso by the looks of things. Just because of the way that Gunther was coming out and he was like, I'm not scared of him. He's full of crap. I'm better than him. I'm going to put him down. And it's like, people only start saying those kind of things when they know they haven't got the upper hand anymore. But overall, it was a very solid promo to start the show with. And to be honest with you, I think their match at Mania now has got a little bit of an edge, which will make it a lot more exciting than what people were actually hoping for. We then went straight into our first match of the show, folks, which was Liv Morgan taking on Bayley. And again, to be honest with you, when these two girls are in the ring and they're against each other or against other similar opponents, they just flow like the river. It is so well done. And as you can see, just going by the photos, there was a lot of action in the match. It was actually really, really good. We got a few 2 counts here and there, but Liv did take the majority of the match and she dominated pretty much. She ran around the ring and got back in, and obviously when Bayley followed her, she started getting stomped on. But for me, the one part that I actually really, really enjoyed was that Liv hit the Three Amigos, which we all know, Eddie Guerrero, one of the greatest ever, and Dom has been doing them. But Liv started to do them herself, and with this, she only got 2 off first, but then she did the third one off the steel steps, which, to be honest with you, even when the guys do it, it does look painful. And seeing these two, well, Liv is not exactly tall and built like, for say, Gunther or someone. She is small, and just the way that she landed, she's going to have a bit of pain by there for the next couple of days. Who knows, it may impact her match at WrestleMania. But the match just started getting more and more intense when they started getting back in the ring. There was buckle bombs and drop kicks to the outside, which looked very painful as well. But overall, though, a great match to start the show with, 4.1 out of 5. We then went straight into our next match, which I'm actually liking this now in all these shows where they'll open the show with a segment or something, and to be honest with you, I really do think they need to start the show with a match, but they're starting to go from match 1 into match 2 into match 3 almost instantaneously, and I actually really like that. But next up, we actually had Rey Mysterio taking on Julius Creed. It was an entertaining back and forth match, with both teams actually being sent back to the locker rooms as Dragon Lee started getting involved. You had Chad Gable getting involved, and the ref had enough, and he was like, nope, that's it, both your teams to the back right now. But obviously with this happening, we knew exactly what was going to happen, folks. We knew that obviously when all of this started happening, Grande Americano was going to come out. We knew this. But during the match, Americano did appear, and he tried to intervene, but Mysterio got the drop on him. Mysterio then hit the 619 for the win, and to be honest with you, Julius Creed at this moment in time, the guy is an absolute legend. He's currently doing Ultimate Fighter as well, where he's teaching the wrestling aspect, which is absolutely incredible. And seeing that this happened, and obviously Grande Americano, he took out Rey with a flying headbutt with the metal plate in his head. Their match at Mania is going to be spectacular. I can really see it. Maybe even stealing the show. Who knows? But for this one, match rating 3.9 out of 5. We then had the phenomenal one, AJ Styles taking on Karrion Kross. The match was pretty good, and we haven't seen Kross in a ring for quite some time, which is actually really nice to see. I've actually really enjoyed watching this match. Kross did get the upper hand for the majority of the match, but the match was over quite quickly in my eyes, unless things just happened and I just didn't pay attention. But it seemed to be, though, that the match went on for like 5 or so minutes. But it was actually a really good match, and it was great to see, like I said, Karrion Kross back in it. Obviously, AJ won with a phenomenal forearm, but then obviously we actually had good old Logan Paul come on out. And he started running his mouth saying his match on Sunday with AJ Styles is going to be the showstopper. It's going to be the main event looking match, which is going to be earlier on. And obviously, the crowd got so loud that Paul literally could not be heard. And the funny thing is then, when he was actually saying that he couldn't be heard, he pointed to the Titantron area where it used to be the screens, and he ran a promo package. Now, with this promo package, it's almost like he's trying to be the Conor McGregor of the WWE. And he actually used Conor McGregor's line, "We're not here to take part, we're here to take over." And I was just thinking to myself, my God, this man is literally trying to use someone else's catchphrases to make himself more popular. But we know what type of person Paul is. But it was a good promo. He said about, obviously, with AJ Styles and him, that it's going to be the show-stopping match. But then AJ Styles said, let's start Mania early, get in the ring. And when Paul was making his way, Kross tried to sneak attack Styles, which didn't really work, obviously. But then Paul hit him with the plate in his arm, and then he got the really cool looking pulverizer. And to be honest with you, it is actually a really sick looking finishing move. But overall though, I can see their match being good, and I think that's mostly because with Logan Paul, he has said he practices. But what I want to know is, can this guy call a match on the fly if something messes up? That's what I want to know. But overall though, it was a good little match, and it was a good little segment to follow up with. After the Styles match, we actually got 2 promos, which was actually really nice to see. The first one was Jey Uso coming out to the ring, yeeting with the crowd, and just overall mentioning about Gunther and how he's not going to take anything. He's going to beat him up at Mania, take the belt, and that Gunther is running scared. Which, as we said earlier, that's what it kind of seems to be, because the dynamic of the two now has changed. Gunther hasn't got the upper hand. Jay's finally in the position to be like, I'm going to beat you, I know I can, and that is it. And he finished off by asking them to play his music, so he continued yeeting with the crowd, which is always a great thing to see. He is one of the best hype men in WWE. Now, before our next match, which was the final match of the evening, which was Penta against Finn Balor, we actually had Bron Breakker in the back doing a short interview. Before he could even get into the interview, he was attacked by the Judgment Day trio of Finn Balor, Dirty Dom, and Carlito. So obviously, we knew for a fact that with them going to the ring, Bron was going to make his way out there and probably get the match DQ'd, which is exactly what happened, which sucks, because for this match, we knew for a fact this was going to be a great match. One, you got Penta, phenomenal wrestler. But then you got Finn Balor, which in my eyes, this guy has been underutilized so much for the last, 6-7 years? Balor was the first Universal Champion. Sadly, he had to give the belt up the very next night because of his separated shoulder and everything else, which absolutely sucked. And he hasn't really been in the title picture ever since. Not for the main belts anyway. It's always been the Tag Championships, the Intercontinental. Don't get me wrong, he's doing a phenomenal job and has been since he got rid of Edge in the Judgment Day. But I really do think Finn needs another run, because this guy is just... To me, on the entire roster, Finn is top 3 100%. He is just so phenomenal when he wrestles. But obviously this match, very fast-paced, very even, I think is the best way to describe it. And we actually got some really, really good-looking moves out of the pair. But obviously, as Finn went up for the coup de grace, Breakker came out. Breakker took out Dom and he took out Carlito, but he got in the ring and obviously took out Finn Balor with one hell of a clothesline. And obviously the ref called for a DQ, which sucked. It was such a great looking match. And he took out everyone then. Breakker took out, let's say, he took out Carlito, he took out Dom. He got Penta. He went to actually spear Penta, but Penta got out the way and he threw Breakker outside. And Penta just went to the top rope and he did a phenomenally looking crossbody off the top and took out Dom, Carlito, and Breakker. Finn was the only one standing tall at the end, and their match, for me, the number one match of the entire weekend now, is this Fatal 4-Way, because this is just going to be absolutely incredible. And I can see it stealing the show and possibly being one of the matches of the year, if not the match of the year in WWE. Now we get into the main segment of the show. The closing segment, if you will. Roman walked out with his wise man, Paul Heyman. Obviously, Roman is not too happy with Heyman because Heyman is going to be walking out with Punk at WrestleMania. And as he gets in the ring, you know, we always see offer the mic to Roman. But Roman just completely ignored him, and he actually had one of the ring team hand him the mic. And you could see Paul was just standing there and he was just like, okay, perplexed look on his face. Roman went into a promo saying about, why am I being punished for granting a favor, even though the favor wasn't his? You know, it was Paul Heyman's to Punk. And he's like, why am I being targeted for this? Why am I being singled out? And then he said to Heyman, why are you betraying your tribal chief? And this was the funniest thing. The crowd then started chanting, you fucked up. You fucked up. And Roman, what did he do? He lifted the mic in the sky and said, I think you need to say it louder. Brilliant off the cuff. And Heyman said, it wasn't a betrayal. I'm not betraying you. It's a favor that I'm actually paying back to someone because I asked them to help. Roman was like, obviously, he's like, no, I never asked for help. Why is this favor all of a sudden here when I didn't request it? And obviously, when he said that, you actually had Rollins come on out and he just came out to poke the bear. You could see he's the one who's there now. He's just stirring the pot. You know, it's absolutely amazing to see. And he was there and he's like, you do know what he's doing. It's taken you over a decade to finally come to your senses. And when he said it as well, you could see Paul, Heyman was just like, what are you doing? But Rollins then said, you know, over the past couple of years, I'm going to do what's right for business and I'm going to take you out at Mania. But then Rollins twisted the words and he made Roman think twice about Heyman being in Punk's corner. He said, that's not a favor, that's his choosing. And obviously he's like, Paul Heyman chose Punk over you, over his tribal chief. And that was just like, oh, he's starting to play mind games here. And it was actually really, really fun. And Roman, he just looked at him, he goes, you know, you're right. And he looked at Heyman and he's like, why would you choose him over me? I'm your tribal chief. And then out of nowhere, Roman just blindsided Rollins and took him out. Then he tried taking out Heyman, which that was the big no-no. He grabbed Heyman by the face, shoved him to the ground. Obviously, good old Punk came running out and he checked on Heyman, but not before he took out Roman. As Punk checked on Heyman, Roman slithered his way back into the ring and took out Punk with a spear, which is actually a really good looking spear. But obviously, Rollins, he's always on the outside, he's always thinking. He came back in with a chair and took out the tribal chief with a chair shot to the back. Exactly how they did it a couple of years ago when the Shield broke up. And with that, he then did a stomp on both Punk and Roman. And it just ended the show with him standing tall over all three of them with a chair in his hand. And to end the show like that, it was pretty good. The way it's been going now is we are literally only a few days out from Mania, from this main event. and it's going to be a very interesting Friday. Who knows, they may turn up on SmackDown, but overall though, this Raw was a great one going into Mania. It actually locked up a lot of anger for a lot of the matches, which is always good to see, instead of like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to go into Mania and this is happening. They've actually made all the matches from Raw to go on Mania actually at like a boiling point for every single one, which is a great thing, and that's exactly how it should have been done. But overall though, show rating for me is an 8 out of 10, and I am looking forward to Friday Night SmackDown, and well, yeah, we actually got 4 days this coming weekend of just non-stop wrestling, which I'm really looking forward to. Friday Night SmackDown, WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday Night Raw on Monday, which obviously the Raw after Monday is always one of the best of the year. So fingers crossed we get some great stuff there too. But guys, like and subscribe. We will be back Saturday, we will be back Sunday, and we will be back Monday and Tuesday for our recaps of SmackDown, WrestleMania, Night 1, Night 2, and Raw. Catch you soon.